Library Board of Trustees. And I will call the order, gavel down, and let's do a roll call.
Chairperson Knight,
Present.
Vice Chair Olivas,
Present.
Trustee Lucas,
Present.
Trustee Markle, Trustee Nichols.
Present.
A quorum is present.
Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item 2, public comment. Any members of the public who would like to address the Library Board of Trustees on any topic within our purview, please come forward at this time, speak on that topic, and please remember to say your name for the record so it can be captured in the meeting minutes. Welcome back, and feel free to turn that little button on.
Denny French, Carson City, Nevada. I just want to say, as usual, thank Joy and all of you. And I on a first name basis, is not really polite, I'm sure, and I'm not supposed to talk at you. Anyhow, the main thing is, thank you all for taking the time in the tough times right now as far as schools and different things like that. And I was noticing a matter that was brought up on NPR, book considerations and titles and banned books, and their libraries are having to take some tough stands. And I know that was part of your considerations for the mural, as to either name them or title them as subjects or by author. And I know there's people who would have wanted to put Mark Twain on it, but he's in a lot of banned book situations right now. So my thing is that it's a tough job, and I'm glad that you have Joy at the library, and I appreciate you all. So that's just basically, so you're going to be facing tough times, and if that's the case, please let me know, because I may not be the best messenger, but I really care about you all and how much you're important to me personally, and how much I enjoy watching the families come in, their children, and the story times and all of that. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. French.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely. Do we have any other public comment on the phone? Oh, well. No, I appreciate you keeping it reasonable. Anyone else for public comment? Or do we have anybody on the phone?
There's nobody on the phone.
Moving on. We'll move on to agenda item 3 for possible action. This is approval of our previous meeting minutes. Does anyone have a chance to look those through? Any edits, clarifications, changes we'd like to make?
This is Trustee Markle. I move to approve the minutes of the September 14th, 2023 meeting.
Thank you, Trustee Markle. Do we have a second? Anybody?
Trustee Nichols, I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No, I'm going to abstain because I was not here.
And Trustee Lucas is abstaining because she was absent. Thank you. All right, let's move on to agenda item 4A. Discussion, this is our Board of Trustee business. Discussion possible action regarding our library hosting an after-hours welcome reception on Sunday, November 5th, 6 o'clock, for attendees of the Nevada Library Association's 75th annual meeting. I'm going to turn this over to Joy just for a brief description of what we'd be voting on here. Is your microphone on? Thank you.
It's a little fuzzy as to whether or not this requires a vote, but I did want to at least discuss it with you guys and put you on notice for a couple of reasons. One, it's an after-hours reception at the library. I haven't been able to get a clear answer or a clear understanding of whether or not we can serve any sort of refreshments there that have alcohol. I know that other public facilities do that, but I'm not sure. We will essentially have it catered. It's through the Nevada Library Association. It's our 75th annual conference. It would be an opening reception for people to come in after hours. The library closes at 4. The registration, we'd probably open it around 5 to get food in and things like that, and then have people come. Usually the reception is a lot smaller than the actual conference, but it's a good opportunity for people who are here the night before to come and just kind of like hang out, and librarians to see one another and all of that. So the Carson City Library would like to host it. And the reason I wanted to discuss it with you guys is, one, because it will be open after regular
Outside of
library
what we
hours,
approved. Yep.
but then also to invite you all and encourage you to attend the conference. I'm not certain if the library has paid for that for board members in the past, but I know that other libraries do. And typically, the libraries I've been at that we've done it before was the gift fund was used to pay for board members to attend. And I think it would be a really awesome experience. Also, if anyone knows anyone who would like to volunteer to help serve as ushers or escorts, because it's at the Brewery Arts Center, which is spread out. It's, it's a campus. And so there's going to be a lot of logistics involved that we're still trying to like hammer out. So Trustee Lucas, if your son is still interested in getting some volunteer hours, he's more than welcome to come. And I'm also going to, each of our staff members as part of our training for the year, our training budget for the year are going to be, and our membership for the year, we're going to have each library staff member will become a member of NLA. And then because we didn't close the library down, which is what some do when the conference is in their town, we didn't do that, but I am going to try and accommodate everyone going at least, maybe a part of each day. So, and it's turning out to be a really, I think it's going to be an amazing event. There's going to be a concert tied into it. There is, well, right now we're having to turn people away for proposals. So,
Oh.
yeah, we've gotten so many people wanting to come in and give presentations that people are now having to be turned away, which Trustee Markle can tell you there have been years where 2 weeks before the event, they're like, anyone want to come and give a presentation? So this is sort of uncharted territories for this organization. So we're trying to ratchet it up this year to kind of get the organization back at full speed. So if you
Great.
guys want to be involved and you want to attend, please let me know. And of course, it would be awesome if all of y'all could come to the reception at 6 on the 5th.
Okay.
So the
So I
only,
think the big thing is just that this is outside of the calendar and schedule that we had previously approved. So our real piece of
right.
you want us to just
Yeah.
very clearly say, yes, we're fine with you having the library open. When
Well,
we said
and that
previously-
you're on notice that it is going to
Yes.
be open. We're having this
Yes.
event. It's not for regular service, and that
Yes.
it's not no staff member is required to be there other than myself. I'm not even really required to be there, but I am the conference chair. So,
Probably be there.
if people want to come, they can come. If they want to stay and be there after their shift ends, that's fine as well. But no one's required to do that. This isn't anything. It does not cost the library a dime,
Yep.
other than keeping the lights on, which those would have been on already at that time of night anyway. So.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Joy? Further conversation?
Could you maybe send us an email with schedule of events? I mean, the beginning of
Yeah.
the month is horribly busy for me during business days, but it sounds
Yeah.
like some stuff might be happening in the evening. You said a
Yeah,
concert?
there will be some stuff happening in the evening. I will, once they've got the program locked down, because we did extend the deadline for the creation of the program. Because we extended the deadline for program proposals because we had so many people coming, getting them in, we thought, okay, we'll give people another week. And it's kind of like one of those things where, it's sort of a bit of psychology where you're like, there's only one more week, and then all of a sudden everything starts coming in. So we decided to extend that out. Once that's over the finish line, then the program will be created quickly, and I'll send that out to y'all.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so you'll know what's up, and if you think, one of the things I'm really excited for is that the keynote is actually not your typical keynote. It's an actual keynote, like what's the word that we've been using? It escapes me right now, but it's interactive. It's like an actual workshop. So it's the
More
keynote
engaging.
person it's all about his specialty is de-escalation of conflict situations in the workplace, which we've been dealing with, and always, right? And so but this particular keynote is going to be interactive, and there will be like lessons being learned as the keynote's being given. So that's a unique thing, and it should be really interesting. So, and it would be cool to have everybody there learning with us,
Right. And we won't be deliberating on anything that's within our authority or making decisions on anything that's within our authority as board members. So while we might have what is a de facto quorum, it is not a meeting that needs to be agendized. Just fun fact for open meeting law.
Oh, right.
Yes. Okay. Any other comments, questions on this? I'll take a motion to approve after hours facility usage for the library if that's beyond what our typical schedule or previously approved calendar included.
It's Trustee Olivas. I make a motion for the library hosting an after-hours welcome reception on Sunday, November 5th, 2023, at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Vice Chair Levis. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Trustee Lucas?
Thank you, Trustee Lucas. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions? Okay. Motion passes. Thank you so much. Trustees, we'll move on to item 4B for possible action, discussion, and possible action regarding possible dates for the annual presentation of the updates to the 2019-2024 Library Strategic Plan. So this is the time when Dr. Fred Steinman had come in, and for those of you who've been around for a minute, we all know Dr. Steinman comes and gives us an update. So we want to talk about the dates for him to do that, which is kind of interesting this time because we've moved up our meeting instead of the last Thursday, which, by the way, hooray, I'm going to go to Bonanza this year. I'm so excited.
We'll be there.
And then it also kind of gives us an opportunity to maybe meet in December when typically we hadn't had an opportunity to meet in December because it was so late in the month. So we might actually have real options when we're talking about when Dr. Steinman can come and give us. Do we have any idea about how long he might need or what he wants to go over initially?
I think he just initially, or I think he essentially just wants to go over the changes that we did make because he met with us last week. Last Monday, we had our October Staff Development Day. And so the first half of that was Dr. Simon there talking with us about what we'd accomplished throughout the year, what we wanted to prioritize as our goals, what objectives we wanted to, kind of reprioritize or move. And we did do that. And so mostly he wants to come and talk with you guys about that and look at the data that he provided to us, which is interesting because the U.S. Census Bureau is behind. So they're about 2 years behind. So the data that we have is some of it's from 21, but mostly 20. So so that was interesting. But it's always, each time we've done this as a staff, it's gotten more and more robust and the staff's gotten more involved. So that's been really interesting to watch and really invigorating as well to see everyone really have a stake in the game. And then also really know what the strategic plan says and why how what we're doing has to align with that and so on and so forth. So he really, I think, wants to just come and give a, a little bit of a temperature taking and let you guys know what we did. And so I would say probably an hour. And the reason that I've even put this in here is because, and didn't just add it to my report and say we're doing it this day, is because in November, we have to move back to the Bonanza room. And then, because they won't know if this room will be available for sure, we're not guaranteed. And so since we can't rest on a no guaranteed situation, we have to, it's scheduled for the Bonanza room. And then starting in December into 2025, we're in this room. So that's a thing because of that room being so much smaller. It's not as easy to cast things and that stuff. So we could wait until December if we wanted to do that.
Cool. Any other questions from the trustees or ideas, discussion?
No, that makes more sense too, than if the public wanted to come. I think it'd be a lot more comfortable
In this room.
in this room.
So are we kind of feeling like December's the time to do that? Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, if we want to make it official, just to keep Joy covered, we can certainly all take a motion to, I don't know, invite Dr. Steinman for his update at the December meeting. Yes, is that how?
Yep.
we can
I-
say that? Is
yeah.
that's basically all we're doing.
We'll
here,
schedule
which
it
is
for the
basically
December meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
You wanted a motion?
If we want, yeah, let's do a motion just to,
I'll move to invite Dr. Steinman to the December meeting of the Carson City Library Board of Trustees for discussion of the annual strategic plan.
thank you,
Update.
Trustee Lucas.
Trustee Nichols, I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee Nichols. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions? Thank you. Motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item 5. Information only. Our library director, administrative reports. Director, the floor is yours.
Any questions about the finances? Nothing from nothing in grants yet, so I didn't bother to bring a sheet of zeros. Oops. Any questions about that stuff, you guys, or do you want me to move on to my report?
I have no questions. Other trustees, any questions for Director Holt? Okay, well, feel free, move on right along.
Okay. So both our library assistant positions have been filled, and Amanda Conkin started on September 26th. Amanda comes to us most recently as a project assistant for the Nevada Library Cooperative, of which we are members, and before that, the State Library, and before that, Fernley, or Lyon County Library System. So she's got a long time in libraries. Huge, huge assets. Already on our schedule, already up to speed, mostly. Doing an outstanding job, and I think the entire staff would second this motion, because it's been really nice to have someone who's been such a quick study. And then Shanae Pointer, who is a longtime library patron, and so we all know her from bringing her kids to the library, started on Monday. And she's equally doing an amazing job, and 4 days in, and is just doing great. So it's nice. We're getting dangerously close to being fully staffed. So the circulation supervisor position has been posted internally. It closes next Thursday. And it has been posted only internally as a promotion for those staff who are interested to have first dibs at it. So, and then a second round of library clerk positions interviews will be pending. These are dragging on simply because I need help to conduct the interview, and our programming and outreach coordinator and collection development supervisor haven't been available to be at those interviews with me. So that slowed us down a little bit, but that's okay, because we have 2 new library assistants who are full-time staff members, so that's been great. So we are getting down to only having 1 position left to fill, and that's the deputy. So that'll be interesting.
Has that been posted yet?
I haven't even posted it yet, no, because it just when I'm just on the precipice of getting ready to launch it, something happens and I have to get another hourly position filled, because as I've said before, but it bears repeating, I can do the deputy job, but I can't do the library assistant job. I mean, I can, but I can absorb the duties of that job. It's me that's burdened by it. I mean, the rest of the staff is to some extent, but they're much more burdened by us not having someone to cover the desk and them having to cover it and still get all their other work done. So that's what's held me back from that, is the impact that it has on the staff, the rest of the staff, by not having those hourly positions filled. So now that we're almost there, and it's a much lengthier process too. So, and then of course, several position interviews are pending. Honestly, the staff gave some feedback on this, and it's sort of split as to whether or not we even need a shelver. So we're sort of hanging loose with that one for a while. It's a part-time job. We can fill it anytime we want. It doesn't have the same process that we have to go through to fill a full-time position. So we cannot fill it and then look to fill it as needed, if that makes sense.
Can I actually ask for a little more clarification on
Yeah.
that? I mean, so you're going to hear the bureaucrat brain here coming at everybody, and I'm sorry. Do you, as the city, do you measure vacancy rates? Does that negatively impact? Do you
No.
run the risk of losing that position if it's not filled for so long?
No, because
Okay.
the part-time positions, the way they work is you're given a pile of money, and this is what you get for part-time staff. You can hire however many you want, just don't bust that budget.
And
and-
if not using the budget doesn't have a negative impact?
Typically, no.
Okay.
Mm-mm. Because we do have library clerks. I also have to find someone to do my administrative clerk work. And then they would rather us come in under budget than go over, right? And
Well, that's true.
and at the end, you never know what's going to happen. And they deliberately do it that way so that as for those, Parks and Rec would be a great example of needing part-time staff seasonally.
Right.
And so they just, and we might have that time of year, we know we're going to be really busy and we need someone for 3 months and then we don't need them anymore after that 3 months. So it's much more, it's much more loose with part-time staff. It's much less rigid of a process for that reason. So no, they won't.
Okay.
I feel bad though that I posted a job that we may not now fill for those who applied.
Yeah.
Is this a job that sometimes volunteers do?
Yes, which is why the staff's like, I'm not quite sure we need. We're not
Yeah.
sure we need any shelvers right now, or more shelvers. We have 2 and they're great. I mean, and some of that has to do with our existing shelvers just being wonderful. But also we have a lot of volunteers. We're flush with volunteers, which is also amazing. And you certainly don't want to turn people away from volunteering.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're really lucky right now. We have great volunteers, and yeah, so that's part of how we're keeping up with it. So we'll see.
Thank you for that.
TBC. So some of the highlights of the things that we've got going on for events this month. For those of you, you might remember me talking about our partnership with the Children's Cabinet out of Reno. They had come to us over last summer and asked if we wanted to participate in a program with them because no other library in the area had a flexible enough schedule that most of them had already had their summer programming set up, and we were like, "Oh, we'll fit you in. Come." And so they did, and it's been an incredibly fruitful partnership. Kathy Mello, who is the Children's Cabinet person that comes to the library every Thursday morning, also recently said, "I'd like to teach a parenting class." And people had asked us about this, and we said, "Yes." The stars have aligned here, and so it's been slow to build. But people are starting to really I think it's going to catch fire here shortly. We had someone come today from a different organization who said, "I will blast this on I didn't know you guys had this here. It's only the second time we've done it. I didn't know you had this here. I'll let all my parents know." It was someone with a nonprofit organization that provides services to parents. So I think it'll be kind of like our pajama story time or our bilingual story time, where it just was a slow grow. So we'll stay the course with that. And then yesterday was National Fossil Day, and we had made a bunch of fossil bones with our ichthyosaurus bones, and the staff remember what the ones that look like little curly Q snails to me. I have an actual one in real life, but we made those with our 3D printer, and we had a bunch of them left over from summer learning, and so we decided to use those as prizes for our Fossil Day scavenger hunt. And people were already in there this morning. Like, I came downstairs at the end of story time, and people were just wandering all over the library looking for the different scavenger hunt items to get their fossils. So it was really cool. It's going to run through the end of October. And I was very impressed because as I rounded the corner past the information desk today, this little girl saw and found the Triceratops, and she couldn't have been more than 2, and said Triceratops absolutely clearly, very well enunciated. I was like, good God, yes! And then the 16th is National Pasta Day. So if you want to have a flashback to your kindergarten or pre-K experience, we're going to be doing some macaroni art. Yes, yes. We actually had, it was last week was Friendship Day, and people came and we had friendship bracelet braiding materials there. I didn't get a chance to make one, but I'm pretty sure I made enough for the entire free world when I was in middle school. That was definitely the hot dig when I was a youngster. We actually have someone else reach out to us about a Medicare options program. This is different than the one that we were doing before. And this is just a gentleman that's going to come in and have 2 sessions and talk with people about different Medicare programs that are available to them. And it functions, it's a passive program. It's going to function much like the other one did, where the person just comes and helps the people kind of learn about what's out there. And then if they want to, if there's any sort of like transactional situation that takes place, that doesn't happen in that. That's not what we're hosting. This is information only. And then we're having a Scary Stories writing workshop with Kelsey Penrose and Corinne Ballendorf on the 21st of October. So if you want to be a horror writer, if you're the next Lovecraft, or you want to be the next Lovecraft, come on down and learn from these 2 ladies. I don't think there is one. I think that's the interesting thing about it. I would love to, if I was a horror writer, I think it would be interesting to hear what kids, or what all age groups are contributing to this particular genre, especially because it is just it's a niche, but like also it's subjective as to what people think is horror, So I would say if you're interested, come. And I doubt it would be a waste of time just to hear what people's ideas are. And then National Pumpkin Day. We've done a pumpkin decorating event, I think most years. I can't remember if we did it last year. I feel like we did. And it usually has a pretty good turnout. So we'll have the supplies there. People will come and they get to take it home with them. And we usually buy little, I can't remember last year if we bought little, like hollow ones that were not edible, or if we bought actual pumpkins. I'd have to ask Jean Marie, our programming coordinator. Did you go to that? Do you remember? All right, and then Bonanza. It's happening. We are ready to go. Our theme is mad scientists. We are ready to rock this. However, we are having to pivot a little bit, and the staff has been so great because we've had some stuff happening with some staff that we're going to be able to go that can't go now, and so we're having to pivot with that. But our staff is just all hands to the pump always at this point, and everyone's super excited. And if you want to come to the library and participate in our theme on actual Halloween, it's classic Disney characters. So I'm sorry you can't come as, what's a recent Disney movie? Toy Story is probably too new. Is Toy Story Disney? Or is that Pixar? Anyway, we're talking like Little Mermaid. Ish, you know what I mean? Fat and older. Sleeping Beauty. So if you want to come and look at all of us, and I'm sure it's going to be really interesting. And then the Nevada Day Parade, I have to be honest, we were all on deck for this. And then just with staffing stuff happening, I'm not sure we're going to be able to make it happen. So it's still on the table. But I don't know that we're going to be able to get it over the finish line with what we've been going on with staff. So, we don't want it to be just me and one other person holding a sign walking down the thing. So, and that's looking like what it might be. Just sometimes things don't work out. So, anyway, if you guys want to participate with us, though, anyone who's interested in doing it, if we do it, please let me know. Because we want everyone to be there. And we'll just be sure to talk about totally banal subjects and not the library, so we're not at risk of violating any open meeting laws. And then last but not least, the mural is complete. Now, as you can imagine, there have been some feedback on this. And I'll just say that you can't please everybody. And I think it is interesting that the Board of Supervisors, when they made the decision about deciding to not put any kind of script on it, said that they wanted people, if you read that article in the newspaper, they said they wanted people to sort of be left to their own interpretation of art. And that definitely people have been left to their own interpretation of art with this, and they've let me know what their interpretation is. And I'll leave it at that.
All right.
Tell us more than that?
Some people don't like it. Other people think it's great. I mean, in a
don't like
nutshell,
it.
some people don't like it. They think that it should have had words or that it's not. Some of the feedback I got was that it wasn't visible enough. People were disappointed that it wasn't on the side of the building that it originally had been planned to be on. Although after seeing that artist, I don't know how she would have done it. I mean, she would have been treacherously high. I mean, I think she would have needed like a bucket truck to make it happen. And she did it over the course of 3 days. I think it's pretty, and it's bright. But some people I think, felt the same way that some of the Board of Supervisors felt, that it shouldn't have writing. Others felt that they couldn't tell what it was because it doesn't have writing. So the staff loves it. We've gotten lots of positive feedback, but we've also had people who are like, don't like where it's at, don't think that it is what the original image looked like. So, I think it's just what you would expect from anything like this. People have the gamut of opinions, and at the end of the day, as I told one person, a friend, I said, well, at the end of the day, people are talking at the library. They're interested, they're paying attention, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think, a lot of the other murals have a Nevada history connection.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, as nice as it is, it's just a little, there's not much to it.
Well,
But,
I
mean,
think,
it's nice. And I'm
yeah.
totally glad we participated in it.
yeah. Well, yeah, and you're not the first person that's mentioned that, and I totally get that as well. But we're the only public building.
Mhm.
So that's part of it, is that those other folks could say, hey, this is my building and I'm going to put on here what I want. And that's my right as the owner. So, it's always tricky.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm glad that there was another building, actually this building, that was up for discussion as to whether or not they'd get a mural, and it was, the commission denied it. So I'm just glad we got some color, and we'll see what happens.
Sure. I think it's always a good idea to participate, especially at inaugural events. And it was so rainy those 3 days that the painting was happening, and I'm just happy to see it was completed.
And I'm happy to
Not
see that,
canceled.
any kind of art initiative getting off the ground, and really, I think this was a really good start for the idea in general for our community. And so
Great.
I'm glad that we got to be at the ground level of it, and who knows what could happen. Because I know that they had talked about and had hoped that it would get enough action to do it again next year, and I think it did. So,
I drive around town now looking at blank spaces, blank walls.
wouldn't that be lovely?
Right, like, oh,
Different
yeah,
buildings.
something
That's a
like
really
that.
big wall. That could be cool.
Yeah, I
Yes.
love murals. I've always thought murals were cool. I'm one of those people that loves like graffiti art, really good graffiti art, like on train cars. I just think is amazing. I think someone did that with spray paint, and I can't even like paint a flat wall with a brush. So it's just amazing to me. And she was doing this with spray paint too. It was unbelievable to watch her. So that's all I've got for my report.
Great. Well, thank you, Director. Do we have any other questions, comments, concerns you'd like to raise under item 5? Hearing none, let's go ahead and move on to item 6. This is just our announcements and requests for information. Anything you all want to see on a future agenda?
I just wanted to share that I have been had some conversations with the senior center about doing some programming with the senior center, mostly during the day right now. But I have talked to 2 different people. On October 25th, Gail Marie Pallmeyer, who is the poet laureate for the state of Nevada, is going to be at the senior center at, I think it's at 12:30. And she'll be giving a presentation and talking about her laureate project, which is a Nevada poetry project. And so, I know that, most people have a job. And 12:30 in the middle of the day might not be convenient, but, I just feel like sometimes, when there's different opportunities available at different times, you get different people who will come, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who are interested in poetry, and particularly Nevada poetry. I have a friend who does cowboy poetry. It's like, well, okay, cowboy poetry is cool. And then I think it's December 12th, Charlie Abowd is going to speak at that same time at the Senior Center, probably mostly to talk about, hopefully about maybe, Christmas or holiday festivities. Maybe he'll teach us how to make Christmas. I don't mean Christmas, I mean holiday.
Could he teach us how to make the beef carpaccio that he used to serve at
probably not.
Adele's? Because that would be awesome.
Probably not, but maybe some holiday appetizers or something, and festivities. Right now he does have that book out, and I told him he could sell the book if he brought that with. Also, what was the other thing? Well, just that he was the chef at Adele's, and he does private chefing now. He'll do private parties or something like that. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
Thank you so much for those announcements, Trustee Merkel. Anyone else? Announcements or items for future agendas? Seeing, hearing none. Okay, I'll move on right along down the agenda to our second phase of public comment. Any members of the public who would like to address the Board of Trustees may come forward at this time to discuss any topic that's relevant within our purview, within our authority. And I see Mr. French is back.
Yes.
Welcome back.
One of the committee's members had suggested I never have trouble speaking up, but things get really sort of emotional for me. It does. And I appreciate public libraries, and I just feel that we're not as well supported in some ways as I would think that the government would like. And I know that's been a holdback for a lot of different things, and I think that's a shame, and got to work on our legislatures and people in office. But you're not getting what you're due, I think, for what comes out of there is an enhancement of the children's educations, their exposures to information, their opportunity to pick up their own book and pick it out. I'm delighted when a parent comes out and says, well, what they had gone over everything, and they're asking, well, what did you get, to their parents? And I'm going, I wouldn't have expanded anything. I got this book, and that's all I cared about. These kids are smart enough to say, well, what do you get? Because they're going to get read to. And that book is, they probably, folks might have wanted to surprise them with some, but no, they want to know, did you get maybe what I was thinking or I'm hoping? But the interaction, the children's stories, the decorations, the phenomenal amount of time that staff puts into cutting out leaves. Fall's not my favorite time. It's really an adjustment for me. I'm not ready to give up into winter yet. And so to have a bright and lively interior that's still, still holding that ability to look around and go, there's discoveries all over the place. I walk in and, at up movie, squirrel. I hardly get up to do my studies, because I want to look at this or I want to see that. But I'm hoping to catch up on that fossil hunt. So it is. And again, just thank you all for being here. And I know that it's tough for libraries, and I'm sorry that should even be the case, because you're so important to the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. French. Right, any other members of the public who would like to come forward? Any other public comment? Anybody on the phone?
No.
There are no colors.
Thank you. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and move on down the agenda. Last item is adjournment. We are adjourned, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, everybody, at 6:11.
6:11.